Yeah.
That's right.
Good evening. I'd like to call the Tuesday, February 17th, 2015 City of Oldsmar City Council meeting to order. I ask you to please rise for our invocation and our pledge that will be led by our City Attorney, Mr. Tom Trask.
Heavenly Father, we gathered together today intent on doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us this task. May our efforts be blessed with insight and guided by understanding and wisdom. We seek to serve with the respect for all. May our personal faith give us strength to act honestly and well in all that matters before us. We recognize our responsibility to the past and to the future and the rights and needs of both individuals and our community. As trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations and on our efforts here today. May we act wisely and well. This we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and once again, welcome. Before we get started, I wanted to say something. The last meeting we had, Bill from Oldsmar Little League came up in acknowledgement of Carly Liptak and naming of the field. And we got kind of sidetracked, and I wanted to publicly apologize to Bill and to Oldsmar Little League and the Liptak family for kind of the direction that went. I think the end result was great, that the use agreement did get signed. And I think that was the important issue that was being brought forward, but I wanted to publicly apologize as the mayor for letting that happen, and especially to the Liptak family, because that was really what it was all about. So having said that, our first item on the agenda is our Citizens Open Forum. We only have a couple of rules, that you keep it to no more than 5 minutes. You state your name and address clearly for the record. And that you don't, if you address anything on the agenda, let me see, do we have any public? Looks like you can address anything on tonight's agenda as well. So having said that, anybody on this side of the room like to address? Bill.
Bill Steele, Board of Directors, Oldsmar Little League. I want to thank you for the apology. And I'm here to thank the Tampa Bay Rays for their generosity. They pledged $3,000 to help us buy equipment for the kids. Also, the Clearwater Thrashers and the Toronto Blue Jays also extended, and of course, businesses locally in Oldsmar, new businesses, old businesses, all generous, and really turned us around this season.
Yeah, and that's important, and thank you so much to the Rays. I saw the picture, and the city clerk's office reposted it on the mayor's page, and it's efforts like that from the sports community and the business community that help, organizations like Oldsmar Little League. We were talking before the meeting about, and I remember when I was a kid growing up, you recycle a lot of that equipment, and knee guards for the catchers and helmets and everything like that, and it wears and tears. So.
Well, it gets pretty embarrassing when you go to outside areas like Tarpon Springs and Countryside, and our catcher's gear is falling off the kids' legs, and theirs is fine,
Yeah.
So we've really been working tirelessly hours putting into reaching out to businesses, and I even asked the city council to maybe sponsor a team in the fall.
Okay, we can talk about that at our workshop that we have, definitely. Thanks.
Okay, and I'm looking forward to hopefully some of you can come out Saturday.
I'm going to try. If my schedule on Saturday, Saturday schedule is tough, but I'll definitely try and make it.
I'll be there. Do you want to announce it so everybody that is
Yeah, on
watching?
Saturday at 10:30, we start our opening ceremonies for the summer season. So come on out. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Anybody else on this side of the room? In the back? Yep.
Good evening. Robert Dugan, 308 Country Club Drive. I'm here because I've tried to make an official complaint at the fire department. I've been getting a runaround from Chief O'Neill, no response from the city manager, and I've left a message with the city attorney and got no return call there. I've left a couple messages with Holly, and I'd like to file an official complaint. I don't need to address the business here, but he seems to think that it's tied in because I got a legal team considering a either state or federal lawsuit against the Pinellas County Sheriff's Department, which has nothing to do with my complaint. And I've been getting a runaround. I'd like to make my complaint, and I'd like someone to give him direction that as a citizen I have a right to make that complaint. And I have a right to a response to that complaint. That simple. And as far as his concern, because there's an internal affairs investigation going on over an incident, has nothing to do with that. But I have been led to believe by the internal affairs investigator that there's been some half-truths told, not out-and-out lies, but some half-truths told of the incident that happened that night. And I understand there's a fraternal brotherhood, and that's a whole separate issue. If something happens down the road and firemen get found to have low integrity, they should be dealt with then under that situation, and it has nothing to do with the complaint I have now. But if you have no integrity, you shouldn't be working for the fire department. That simple. So, but I'd like someone to give him direction to handle my complaint. He was afraid to sit down without the city attorney present. I called him a couple months ago and left a message, so this has been going on for a couple months now. And I'm at the end of it. I swore I'd never come to another council meeting. I was in politics when I lived up north, and I have no intention of getting involved in any type of politics again. Nothing personal. It's just a rough life. Yeah. So that's simple, and I just like to make my complaint, and here's my phone number. Leave it with whoever. Give me a call, set up a time, and I'll meet them there.
Okay.
So give it to the city manager, I would believe would be the proper person.
Sure. And you've publicly made your point, and we'll look into it and address it accordingly.
Okay. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Anybody else on this side of the room? Jerry? Yeah.
Jerry Cussin, Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce, 101 State Street West. I was talking to the mayor today. Over the Christmas holidays, Senator Latvala asked me to, and a couple other people, to try to get some Pinellas chambers to go up and make a trip up to Tallahassee during the session for a legislative delegation session. So he asked me to organize that. I do have 9 chambers involved. We have probably 25 people plus that are going up there. And what he'd like to do is have us develop the business voice for the Pinellas County. Other things that we have on the docket include regional transportation, healthcare, water resources, energy resources, manufacturing, things of that nature. All of these are very important to the economic development of the community. So we're developing that agenda now. We had a really good meeting today. We've got 25 hotel rooms booked. We're going to take a bus ride up there, so I'd like to invite any city council meetings, or if you want any of the staff to go with us, or any citizen that's interested in doing that, please contact me.
Yeah, we did talk about that earlier, and especially important for us because of the special election with Representative Grant, we don't really have any representation up there, so we need to go be the squeaky wheel. So I do plan on attending. I'm not sure who else may go. But. And
if there's any specific agenda items you have, we're going to try to take the broad agenda items, but also if there's any city-specific items we have. Tourism is another thing, and I want to make sure we get sports tourism in there, not just beach tourism. Right. So things of that nature. So if there's anything that, any individual things that you would like us to put on that agenda, we'll put it on the agenda.
Yeah, I'll go with as the city, and I'm going as part of the PSTA as well. So
I'll forward the developing agenda to you and the city manager, and take a look at that, and then we can add anything we would like.
March 25th and 26th, or is it
25th, 26th? We'll drive up on the 25th, drive back on the 26th. Okay. Take a bus. I'd like to introduce John Benacasa. We're also involved, as you well know, in the Upper Tampa Bay Education Foundation, and we're finally getting reorganized, and we're going to have a special event coming up April 16th that John will talk about.
Excellent.
My name is John Benacasa. I am an Oldsmar resident. I live at 125 Camphor Circle in Oldsmar. As many of you know, or maybe some of you don't know, we have a thing called the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce Education Foundation. Our purpose is to provide technical scholarships to qualified students that will encourage them to get and learn skills they could then bring back to our area and apply to helping our community growth, and hopefully have them eventually sitting in some of your chairs up there. Like any foundation, of course, the more money we raise, the greater our ability to help students and help them with their education. As Jerry mentioned, on April 16th, we are having our big fundraiser gala. It is at AC Nielsen. It is at 5:30, and it is a Kentucky Derby night. It should be an absolute blast. It's going to be a lot of fun, but what we're looking for is two things. Number one, we're looking for attendees, and number two, we are certainly looking for sponsors. So I would encourage everyone in this room, all the people watching on TV, and certainly one of you that would be interested in helping us with this very, very worthy endeavor, either contact either Jerry or myself, or we do have a website that is UTBEF, that's UTBEF.org. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. Tracy?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tracy Earhart from 220 Corkwood Lane in Oldsmar. I am here tonight. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Didn't sound like you could. I couldn't hear myself. Representing the American Cancer Society Relay for Life event. And this year we have some exciting changes, and I want everybody to know about it. It is now going to be a 9-hour event from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday, April 11th. Also still going to be at Canal Park, but we want to let everybody know that we're trying to get more community involvement. We want people to come out to the event. And we have found that during those 12 midnight to 6 a.m. hour, it's usually just the relayers. So we're reaching out to the community and want to really get the city and everybody involved that it's going to be from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. We were still going to have our opening ceremonies, our closing ceremonies, and the most important luminaria ceremony where we honor those who have lost their fight to cancer and celebrate those who are still fighting. But please put it on the calendars, April 11th, and we want the community to come out and enjoy the event. It's going to be a great time. And we are combining with Safety Harbor, so we are hoping that we're going to get a lot of Safety Harbor residents out as well as the Oldsmar community. Perfect. Any questions? No. All right. Hopefully we'll see you all out there. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on this side of the room? Anybody on this side of the room? And you can just use Oldsmar resident as your address.
My name's Dane Runyon. I live at 605 Park Boulevard, and I'm here to apologize for damaging city property. I just think it's right to stand up here and personally apologize to every one of you for damaging the property, and I just thought it was the right thing to do.
Thank you, Damon. I think that's an excellent thing to do, and it takes a lot of nerve to apologize in general, but to come up in front of a city council and people and apologize, I think that's great. I talked to your mom and dad earlier today, and they think it's great that you did that. So thank you for doing that.
That's what builds character, Damon.
It does, being accountable for your mistakes at such a young age. That's rare.
By a show of hands, who as a kid did things dumb? Thanks, Damon. Anybody else on this side of the room? Seeing nobody, we'll close the Citizens Open Forum. Mayor's Minute's kind of brief. Again, the TV channels have moved. Bright House channel for Oldsmar government moved to channel 615, from 615 to 640. Also on Friday, February 6th, it was exciting. Myself and Deb Pauley from the city clerk's office had an opportunity to entertain the film commissioner for Pinellas County and show them around Oldsmar, and it was exciting. We went to Mobley Bay, the new Environmental Education Center, Tampa Bay Downs, Tampa Bay Water Ski Show, the BMX site, and all kinds of great sites around the city of Oldsmar, because what they do is then when film companies call the Film Bureau here in Oldsmar, in Clearwater, they can tell them about the city, and they were taking all kinds of pictures of different locations, houses, industrial buildings, the track, and it's exciting. We've got a little bit of everything in the city of Oldsmar, so they were excited and glad to do it and see things that they'd never seen before. They didn't know about the track. They didn't know about the ski park. So that's exciting, and may see some of those things in upcoming movies or commercials. So also the inaugural mobile pet vaccination bus, Saturday, February 28th, 10 to 2 at Oldsmar Public Library parking lot. So we're honored to be hosting the affordable National Mobile Pet Vaccination Clinic. So if you need more information, 727-492-1910. That's all I have for the Mayor's Minute. Up next is our consent docket, which is approve the payment to legal counsel. Does anybody wish to pull that? If not, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0. Thank you. Next is the City of Oldsmar presentation of the Council Manager Awards, and that will be done by former Mayor Jared Beebelin.
We've been doing this for years, right?
It's been that long?
It's been that long. We started this in 1990. And this will probably be my last time to choose the Council Manager Award. And so over the years, we've had some very important people to stand up here and receive that award. And as my last one, decided to give it to who I think makes this council look good every week of the year. They've helped me to look good at times, even when I was bad at times. They've helped me to look good at times over the last 25 years. And tonight I want to give it to the employees of the city of Oldsmar. And I'm going to do this. So if any employees are here that want to come up at this time, whenever I call this, I'm giving it to the, I will present it to the head of that department. And this one, the first one, is to some guys that have been to my family's 4 or 5 times. And one time actually brought my oldest son back to life. We eventually lost him, but they gave my beautiful wife and I 9 more months with him. And this is to the Oldsmar Fire Rescue Group. I haven't always made these guys happy, but and these a couple. We got some new ones here, don't we? We did. I'm going to have you. Oh, this is the one that him and I usually go at it over and over and over and over, and I'm not sure whoever wins.
Nobody.
Anyway, guys and Dean, this is the Council Manager Award for the Fire Rescue, and I'm going to present it to you, but it's for all the employees of the incredible guys at our fire department. You want to introduce them?
I will. Starting here on my immediate right is Jason Schwabe, lieutenant on today's shift. Aaron Gonzalez, who's our administrative lieutenant in charge of EMS and training. Chris Vaca, firefighter EMT. Dave Young, firefighter paramedic. Angel Hernandez, firefighter EMT. And our brand newest member, what's your name again? No, just kidding. Noel Castro came to us from Marion County. We're very happy to have him.
If you notice on their badges, they're wearing a black ribbon. And we won't go into that, but they lost one of their own. And to their family, to his family, this council
Absolutely.
thanks them for everything they've done. You want to say anything about that? Thank you, guys. pictures. Yeah, yeah, we gotta have a picture here. Get up here. Did you get us all in there? Is Aaron taking you? You're all right. You have to get a hug, whether you like it or not.
Welcome, Noel. Welcome.
This is one department that really well, all the departments impact the city, but this is one department that impacts the growth of the city. Sometimes we always don't see eye to eye, but we always agree at the end, don't we? This is the planning and redevelopment employees. Be real good up here on this one because we have somebody from the county here that's going to, there he is, he's going to critique us on this one. Yes. This is to the planning and redevelopment employees of the city of Oldsmar. Do you have anybody you want to bring up here? Mike was going to come up on his own. Thank you for everything. Tell them at the camp. This, even though we always don't see eye to eye.
Just once or twice.
But you go up and down this beautiful city of ours. It's because of this council and the planning department. Thank you. This is the Public Works. Weren't you just up here a couple of weeks ago? Did you get that yes, sir? What's your rank in the service?
It's about to be lieutenant, but right now it's lieutenant junior grade.
You did get that, didn't you? Lieutenant junior grade? Is that higher than your rank? This is for the Public Works employees. You want to tell us who all the Public Works employees, not who their names, but what they, each department. You can hold it.
Well, they do everything from the maintaining the streets to the drainage to making sure the plants to produce water to clean the sewage. Basically, everyday operations.
Let me tell y'all something. Every time you go to the tap, you know what a tap is? That's where you turn the little thing and water comes out. Thank this department. Now, every time you go to the bathroom...
I was afraid of this.
And do whatever you do, and then push the little lever, and then walk away and don't even pay attention to what you just did, all that goes over 2 miles to a plant down here.
On Beaverland Boulevard.
Now, if you really want to get excited, we'll tell these people not to do their job. Then we'll give you a shovel, and you go out back and dig a hole. I was 12 years old before I saw the inside of a house toilet. We had a 3-holer in Idaho. Thank you for what y'all do. Lieutenant junior grade. what's our motto in this town?
Live, work, and play.
Live, work, and play. Now, this is the play part of it. The leisure services. Hi, gang. And we got a bunch of places to play in this city, including Canal Park. When I was first elected in 1970, way back yonder, older than dirt, we had one ball field. It was down at Orioles Park. We had 4 teams, and that's the only recreation place we had in this city. I was proud to be a manager for 4 years and a Little League president for 2 years, and I had to go to Safety Harbor to pick up some boys so I'd have enough players on my team. See what's happened since then to this city? How many miles of trails do we have?
He's standing right next to you.
Oh, how many miles?
10.
See, I'm so used to the general up here. We have. Go ahead and tell us what we got.
Well, we got 10 parks that are developed. We have one that is still undeveloped, and we got 10 miles of trails. We're getting ready to build a fantastic BMX track. We've got Cypress Recreation Center. This is Kyle Reifler. He's the supervisor, and I'm not going to use his real name, but this is Adam Melhausen. He works at Cypress Rec.
And who are you?
Oh, Lynn Reeves. I'm the Director of Leisure Services.
How long have you been director?
15 years.
I'll give you the microphone. 15 years. Thank you all for what you do. Okay, out of 10 square miles, that's how big this city is. You pay attention to this. Oldsmar is 10 square miles. How many square miles of that is parkland?
I don't know square miles. It's 2,200 acres is parkland within the city limits.
About a third.
That's what I wanted you to say, a third. I don't know how big of an acre is. A third of this city is parkland. Thank you all for what you do. These are the 2 bearded guys. You want to say anything about these guys?
About them?
Anybody?
I think this whole city's great, and I think you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
They really are the backbone of the council, though, definitely.
They really are. And I've said this, I don't know, maybe 1,000 times over the last 24 years. We hold our hands up, we vote, and we go home. And these people make us look good. Thank you all. Now, the next one is for the library employees. Come on up here. We got the most incredible and most beautiful library.
Award-winning
library in Pinellas County. Are you? That's a privilege of being a boss. Are you proud of that library building?
I'm very proud of it.
And when?
I'm proud of the staff, too.
Tell us about it. By the way, this is Bert.
Yes, Bert Weber, library director. And believe it or not, it just seems like yesterday, but we're closing in on 10 years. You know, this is completed full 7 years, 8 years now. So it's, yeah, for that one, the new one. Used to be here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right here, where you're sitting right now, in this building.
And
before that, it was in a little building next door. And before that, it was in a house.
Yeah. No, we got 3 times as much room as we had in here. So, and a lot more people, and a lot more services, and we're happy to do it. We're a happy bunch. Come see us.
And what are you about to do?
Oh, I'm going to retire. I'm part-time now, but one of these days I'll be gone for good. But we got a good assistant.
We got them all over the city. Good assistants. And we have to thank Bruce. When we came here, what city manager hired the first library employee?
That was me. The first director, we had 2 part-time employees.
He set the library up as a city-paid function, as he also did for the fire department, I believe.
No, we had 6 paid-time
We had
firefighters.
6 men?
And a chief.
Then we're not going to give you credit for that one. Bert.
Thank you.
Thank you for all that
One? 2. Oh, 2 of them, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bert. Are we going to have a report tonight on this one?
There'll be some other recognition given.
For how many years?
24.
24 years this city has been honored for this department, the administrative services employees. Yeah, get them all out here.
I was trying to get Mike out of the back. Put it on autopilot.
Get up here. Now, this is the group that really makes us look good on paper. I mean, really look good on paper. When you add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, 2 and 2 make 4, something like that. You tell us who they are and introduce them.
I'm not sure. This is Cindy Nano, our finance administrator, been with us 15 years. Amy Ratliff, our accounting supervisor, been with us almost 5. 4 is almost 5. Accounting thing. This is Garrett Zeliff. We call him the boy wonder. He's my management analyst and been here almost 2, 3. That's close. This is Mike Hurley, our GIS database analyst, specialist, genius. What is it?
I used to be the boy wonder years ago.
Yeah. Well, that's about 15 years as well. My name is Al Braithwaite. I'm the Director of Administrative Services. I've been here for 15 years.
Al, this is an incredible group. This is the group that makes him look good.
And all of us.
And all of us. I mean, we're going to get another award for the 24th year, and this council is going to sit here and they're going to accept that award like, yes, we did it again. And when we didn't do it, it was actually him and this group here that did it, and thank you. Thank you. Al and I have something else in common. We were great basketball players. He just happens to be taller than me. Also, you coached where?
28 years in Pinellas County, 17 of them at Clearwater Central Catholic High School.
He actually proved himself better than I have. Thank you. What do you call it? The boy wonder?
Yeah, the boy wonder.
This department keeps the council in line. I've had the past director of this department and the director of this department now. They'll say, at that time it'd be mayor or councilman. You can't do that. And that's the city clerk's office. I don't know your name anymore. You keep changing it. This is Ann Nixon. and introduce this lady. I can never remember her name. The deputy city clerk, and then the city clerk, and everybody prospers because of this department. All other departments prosper because of this department. And this is for y'all. And they also have you have, 3 more employees up there? 4 other employees? And one of them is really a pain in the rear end.
She's standing right there.
No. Tomorrow morning, you tell her that's what I called her. Incredible people up there. I mean, they have kept me out of trouble. I'm sure they've kept you out of trouble.
Oh,
too.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they really do keep us out of trouble. They are kind of like our little guardian angels in there. They tell us when we're wrong. You know, I have well, I'll say this in just a few minutes, but Ann, Kathy, we love y'all, and thank you for what you do for us. A thorn between 2 flowers. This is an office that we just put up with. I mean, we don't really pay much attention to it, but this is the city manager's office. Now, I'm not going to ask him to name all the employees that are under him because we'll be here for another 2 hours. But Bruce, you've been here for 28 years, 26 years, 27 years? 29 years. And he's had to put up with me for 24 of those 29 years. And have we always seen eye to eye?
I think I may be getting a headache.
He thinks he's funny, but he's not. Anyway, Bruce, from your office down, that's what makes this council, many councils. Bruce has been city manager when he's had some really morons on city council. And I've told those people to their face that they've been morons, so that doesn't bother me a bit. But through it all, I've always told him that through all the councils, we come and go. But the city manager is that thread that goes from year to year to year. And this is, in my opinion, and I'm sure the councils, this is the most successful city on the west coast of Florida, if not in the whole state of Florida. And I give you a lot of credit for that. Not all the credit, but I give you a lot of credit for that. Thank you, sir. You want?
Thank you, and I'm very pleased that you chose to recognize all the employees this evening in presenting the Council Manager Award because, as you said, they're the ones that do all the work and accomplish all the great things for the city of Oldsmar. Of course, it's great to be part of an award-winning team, and I want to offer my congratulations to the employees and each of the department heads that were here this evening and received the award. Of course, I knew that's what you were going to do this evening. I wasn't, sure of the order. And the other thing, of course, we never know for sure. We would just speculate on what you might say. It's all been good, and I'm happy to accept this award for the city manager's office also. Thank you.
What do you think about what I was going to say?
No, I wasn't worried about it. I've got a little bit more concerned when I realized I was going to be last. I mean, that's fine. That's good because you recognize all of the departments. And then there was one other thing that I just wanted to share. And I know Mike Hurley's still, back there in the booth and controlling everything. But as we go back further in history, before Mike, I was the boy wonder. Oh, Kathy's going to take our picture, isn't she?
I'm not going to. Well, yeah, I will too. have one more, but I won't get the plaque until at the next council meeting, right? Kathy came up and said, you know what I did? I forgot a plaque. Are you going to scream at me as usual? I said, I'm not going to scream at you. There's one more plaque that I'm going to give at the next council meeting, and that's for this guy right here. Our city attorney. Set him next to him for how many years?
Almost 19.
My leg I got calluses on my leg right here. You think I'm joking, where he's kicked me when I was mayor? He also keeps not only the council out of trouble, he keeps the city out of trouble on the law side. He's as far as I'm concerned, he's the most incredible city manager.
And attorney.
Did I insult you just now?
Isn't that a promotion?
He is the most incredible city attorney any city could ever wish to have. He's very matter of fact. He doesn't give an inch. If he thinks he's right, he'll tell you you're wrong. And we appreciate that.
Thank you.
I remember one time I voted against your advice. Remember that?
No.
No. And I said it in public. I felt like I was dishonoring my mother because I was going against your advice. Tom, you're incredible. I hope you're here until the day you retire.
I appreciate it. I hope so too.
Thank you. Council didn't get one. They didn't work for the city here. They work for the residents.
And Jerry will be available tomorrow in the city clerk's office to hug the rest of the employees. I'm kidding.
Good job.
Thank you, though. Thank you to all the city employees, and that was really nice that you did that, Jerry, and acknowledge them, because without them, we wouldn't be where we are today, that's for sure, and we're one of the greatest cities, as you said, in the state of Florida, so thank you for that. Next is our Employee Service Award, and our city manager, Mr. Bruce Haddock, will do that.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm very happy this evening to present a 10-year service award to Adam El Hassan.
You get your picture taken twice.
Yeah. Lucky day.
Congratulations on your 10th anniversary, Adam. There's a check that goes along with the award. I'll give that to you. Service award in recognition for 10 years of service to the city of Oldsmar, presented to Adam El Hassan, 2005 to 2015. Take that. I know some of your coworkers are here tonight. Anyone else come to wish you well on this anniversary occasion?
No, they're all working.
And if I could be incorrect on this, but I'm going to take a stab at it, that your current position is Senior Recreation Coordinator.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. I'm glad I got that right. And Adam works in leisure services, and most of the time I think you currently are working at the Cypress Forest Recreation Center. Is that right?
Yes, that's where I'm at.
And sometimes, occasionally, and in the past, you've also spent some time at the senior center, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm a little everywhere. A little bit of everywhere.
There's quite a bit of variety in what you do.
Yeah, a little bit.
I thought so. But anyhow, I'm happy that we could recognize you on your 10th anniversary, let you know that we appreciate the work that you do. And you might also take just a minute to tell people that, you know, they say, oh, that guy's a senior recreation coordinator. What does that mean? Could you just like take 1 minute and tell people a little bit? I know that's a minute's not long enough to some of the things you do.
I I teach classes, I run the camps, I make sure the building functions, help the supervisor with things, I do whatever's asked. No questions.
And you do a good job at it too. So I'm happy that we can wish you a happy anniversary this evening. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Our next item is great. Jerry mentioned it earlier. It's the presentation of the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. I'm glad to produce it. Give this to Cindy Nano, if she would come up. And this thing is heavy. They can all come up if they want. Yeah, here you go. And it says, Government Finance Officers Association, Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, presented to the City of Oldsmar, Florida, signed by some scribbly guy named Jeffrey. Bean, Jeffrey Bean. And congratulations to you. This is, as we said, the 24th year. And can you tell a little bit about what goes into that?
Basically, it's a year-long process. It's for the financial reports that we do at the end of the year. It's a compilation of everything we do during the year, and it has to be in the right format. Everything has to be done just so. It's also a result of the audit. We have an independent auditor that comes in and goes through everything, just make sure everything's in conformance with all the rules, and then we submit it for the award.
And it's 24 years in a row. How about a big round of applause for this? Thanks. You want a picture?
Now, guys. Take a picture of Al when he does that again.
And our next item is consider the appointment of Jerry Walters as an alternate member of the Board of Adjustments. Jerry's here. You want to come up, Jerry? And by the way, if we were betting men, the two people sitting next to me and myself would have lost a bet tonight. We thought you would have got up earlier today. We were both going for that you were coming up twice tonight.
I had nothing to add.
Oh.
Mayor, when you get to the point, I got a lot of questions to ask.
Well, yeah, go ahead. Let him rip.
Do you know what you're doing?
Depends on what you're asking.
Have you ever served on a board before?
If you look at the...
have you ever served on... I'm not going to look at anything. I'm asking you. Have you ever served on a board before?
Yes.
How many years?
How many boards have I been on? Or I'm sorry?
How many years?
Boards? How many boards?
I've been on 4 boards and quite a few committees.
Including this board?
Yes.
And how many years?
Altogether since 82 or 83. It depends on what that committee was then.
I guess he's qualified.
I was wondering if you were questioning us.
I might even make the comment that I was on city council when Bruce Haddock was voted in as the city manager.
Oh. Very nice. He made one good vote in his life. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
I don't have any questions.
No, thanks for doing that. It's great, and you're a big supporter and volunteer for the community and the city. So thanks. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, City Council.
Thank you.
Is there a meeting coming up this month?
What's that again?
Is there a meeting coming up this month?
Yes.
Yes.
Our next item is presentation by Pinellas SWAT, Students Working Against Tobacco, and they're here tonight. Welcome to our great city.
Good evening. I'm Deavon Dre, and I'm from Pinellas County SWAT.
I'm Asiana Martin. I'm from Pinellas County SWAT.
I'm Anthony Jackson from Pinellas County SWAT.
We would like to thank you for letting us speak tonight, and we appreciate your efforts in wanting to support tobacco prevention among youth. And now we would like to ask for your help. Why should we care? Because tobacco is the leading cause of preventable and premature deaths, more than AIDS, alcohol, drugs, car crashes, homicides, and suicides combined, killing 88 Floridians each day and almost 500,000 Americans each year. And with most of these tobacco users starting out as kids, this is why we care. One of our biggest concerns is flavored tobacco. Why is it such a big concern? It is a well-known fact that kids have a sweet tooth, with nearly 90% of smokers starting by the age of 18. Why do you think tobacco companies are targeting us? Every day, 1,200 Americans die from tobacco use, which means every day the industry loses 1,200 customers. They need us to replace them. Just read this quote from R.J. Reynolds' document. The evidence that younger adult smokers are more receptive to sweeter tasting cigarettes is being explored.
In 2009, Congress gave the FDA the power to regulate tobacco products. One of the first items on the list was flavored tobacco. The FDA has banned all flavored cigarettes except menthol. However, candy-flavored cigars, cigarillos, and smokeless tobacco products are not banned. Florida is the only state that does not tax cigars, making the cheap alternative for the kids who do not have a lot of money. In addition, these products are also sold as loosies or individual cigars, which can be purchased very cheaply. Because of this and the wide assortment of sweet flavors, use of cigars by high school students has increased by 25%, while cigarette use has actually decreased. There are now flavored small cigars or cigarillos, which are allowed to have flavors like apple, chocolate, and grape.
So tobacco companies are no longer able to sell flavored cigarettes, but they can sell flavored cigars tax-free. Here's a picture of cigars. So different from cigarettes, aren't they? And then there are new dissolvable and chewable products like snus, orbs, sticks, and strips, which are designed to look familiar and safe, even though many of them deliver more nicotine than a cigarette. Take a look how similar the Camel orbs are to Tic Tacs.
I've never seen those.
No, I haven't either.
What concerns us is the most of these flavored products can be found in any convenience store, often located close to candy, making it look harmless and appealing to kids. You spend twice as much time in a convenience store as adults, which means twice exposure. 75% of teens visit convenience stores at least once a week and are exposed to tobacco products and tobacco advertising, and this weekly exposure is associated with 50% increase in tobacco use among kids. In fact, 90% of adults aren't noticing these flavored products at all. Why? Because they're not marketed to them.
With products that are packaged and flavored to target youth, it is easy to gain community support for the ban. We can use the FDA ban on flavored cigarettes as a selling point. If flavored cigarettes were developed and packaged to target youth, then these alternative tobacco products are just an extension of the same marketing tactic. Currently, more than 200 resolutions have been passed statewide to show a growing concern for the issue of candy-flavored tobacco. In May 2013, the City of Safety Harbor unanimously passed the resolution urging local retailers where youth have access to tobacco products to cease the sale of and marketing of all flavored tobacco products. And in November 2013, the City of Dunedin voted unanimously to do the same thing. In nearby Countryside High School, there are 10 tobacco retailers within 2 miles walking or biking distance of the school.
With more than 1 in 5 Florida high school youth using tobacco, the time for action is now. And SWAT is taking action. Just last year alone in 2014, 3 more cities, Clearwater, Largo, and Kansas City, passed resolutions urging local retailers to cease the sale and marketing of flavored tobacco products. That brings our county to a total of 9 resolutions throughout the city recognizing that flavored tobacco products are targeting us. Other cities are passing resolutions and ordinances. If we can get enough resolutions across the state, we can make a real positive change with tobacco legislation. If you care about the tobacco companies trying to hook us, the youth, especially if you have kids of your own, please think about what further action you might want to take. Thank you for your time. Do you guys have any questions? And if not, thank you again.
And are you asking us to do a resolution?
Yes.
Would you like us to?
Yes.
I think we should do a resolution.
I think we should too.
Me too.
I got to commend you guys. I'm one of the 10% that didn't know of adults. I didn't even know those products existed.
Yeah.
So for you guys to come up here and do this, we definitely have to do this.
Yeah.
Mayor.
Can we draft the resolution? Thank you.
I have
We will do that.
I have a comment. If everybody would treat tobacco like I did, I was 11 years old when I smoked a part of my first and only cigarette in my life. It made me so sick, and I'm not lying to you, it made me so sick. I threw up my insides for the rest of the day. They had to get me we were by a river in Idaho, and they had to get me a ride home. I was so sick, and I've never had another idiot cigarette
Well,
in my mouth.
you're very lucky. I was one of the dumb ones because you said 90% start at 18. I didn't start smoking until I was 25, and it took me years to quit. It's horrible, horrible addiction. Yeah. So
Awesome. We will do that. Can I come down and get a picture? Because we want to post it on our website.
Thank you.
Good job. Where's it going? Oh, shoot.
Thanks. Awesome. Thank you for coming tonight. Our next item is economic development presentation by Michael Crawford of the Pinellas Planning Council. Welcome.
He loves the city of Oldsmar.
I do, but I'm losing all my audience. Thank you, Mayor and council members. I have to say, Bruce does have a great staff. Bruce started in 1985, I would think, in Oldsmar. I started in Tarpon Springs in 1986, so you and I about the same time. And as far as critiquing Marie, great to work with. She's rather quiet down county, but when she has something to say, she does speak up, believe me. So thank you, Marie. You still here? Yes.
I would like to, Michael.
Yes.
You could also critique how this council operates.
As I was telling the former mayor, I'm going to say it correctly this time, Beaverland, my first council meeting was when you were across the street, and I can't remember the exact subject, but you were the mayor at the time, and it was just phenomenal how the group worked together, how professional they were, how they recognized the citizens, and it hasn't stopped. Every time I've come here, I really do appreciate what you all do. It's remarkable. I'm all over the county. I meet with all 25 local governments, and you're all really one of the best. So.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Again, my name is Mike Crawford. I'm the interim executive director for the Pinellas Planning Council for about maybe another month. They're going to be hiring somebody next month. So, but I've been asked by Marie and Bruce to talk to you about the symposium that we had back in October of 2014. Just give you an update on that. And really my part was to bring that group up to speed on what was called Pinellas by Design. I was the first speaker. We had speakers over a 2-day period on economic development. The plan, the Pinellas by Design, was developed about 10 years ago. It was a collaborative effort. We've been using it ever since. But it really starts out as a community visioning product. Let's see if I got the right button. We got the green button. Do that again. or this way. There we go. I'll talk a little bit about what directions came from that plan, how we're using it today, and what we discovered in the process about our economy for the whole county. And I'll be talking about the whole county. I have to say Oldsmar stands out a little bit different than some of the problems we've had in the whole county. Y'all do a great job up here when it comes to economic development. There we go. Starting out, of course, many of you know we're a built-out county in Pinellas County, and that means that the amount of developable land that we have, or what we call greenfield land, has been dwindling. Again, Oldsmar maybe not quite as much as the rest. New population growth is being accommodated through infill development or redevelopment, and there we go. Pinellas by Design, what it did was it identified the fact that redevelopment was necessary, and it's inevitable in Pinellas County. But we felt it was occurring, or it stated it was occurring without, well, actually, it would occur with or without overarching public purpose or clearly articulated objectives. And again, as we may not want to admit it, we are a maturing county, and we need to redevelop to continue to prosper. The plan identified, let's see what number we're on there. The plan identified a significant amount of our building stock was aging, risking a loss of our employers. And it also stated our regulations were a little bit cumbersome in a built-out environment, and we needed to create more certainty. We needed to rely on our codes and redevelopment scheme, but not on variances and exceptions to our code. It's real difficult for a development community to work through that kind of a process. In the county, we needed to understand that there was a new development or redevelopment reality. So, excuse me. So if we were going to change the way we looked at development or redevelopment, we needed to ask the question at this point, what did we want our community to look like in the future? We had a choice, and we wanted people to get involved to answer that question. The full development of Pinellas by Design took approximately 5 years. There were about 1,200 participants, and we had 3 symposiums throughout the county. We had the public, we had business owners, community leaders, the development community, and all the local government staffs were involved as well. There we go. And important in this process was the recognition that the plan needed to involve each and every local government, the private sector, and the community. And Pinellas by Design effort, including the community visioning, was a great starting point. It was a place to launch from, and it brought multiple entities together on a path to improve the community. There we go. It stated that redevelopment is a key to our economic prosperity for the future. If properly done, it would not only sustain the quality of life we enjoy today, but improve upon what we have. Without it, we would begin to decline. Effective redevelopment planning needs to build upon our existing framework, preserving the character of established neighborhoods while channeling new growth into areas where it could be appropriately accommodated. Let's see if I can see what.
10.
Great. There we go. Now I'm caught up. I've pushed the button a lot more than 10. But basically, our county is developed into all these different centers, corridors, and districts. Centers being focal points of the communities, like you have in your downtown Oldsmar. Corridors, we looked at what do they want? We want them to look like. How do we want them to function? Excuse me, what type of transportation should we expect along these corridors? And districts, how can we change the way we look at these special areas that house our significant employment? I think that one in the lower is in Oldsmar. We thought that was an absolutely gorgeous picture.
That's Nielsen.
Mm-hmm. Yep, gorgeous. I have a bigger one later. So very importantly, the plan identified that we have a real estate dilemma in Pinellas County, and I'll explain that at this point. It's that is with virtually no vacant land left in Pinellas County. We must be careful to redevelop with the understanding that we need to remain economically viable. It was often a choice of economic prosperity or disinvestment versus disinvestment, job loss, and declining wages. Although this seems like a simple choice, it's not clear what the impacts of our land use decisions are. So we needed to start with the understanding of what drives our economy, and that is primary employment at the top. Primary employers are those that offer a higher than average wage and import revenue from outside the county, and that typically is because they export a product or a service from outside the county. Our economy is no longer centered on tourism, and I know some of the tourism officials were a little bit disheartened to hear that, but it isn't centered on tourism. It's more on manufacturing, information systems, and medical technology. Those are the big ones in Pinellas County. And these employers need a supply of buildable land in the right locations, but they do face a lot of competition from other forms of development like high-end residential and retail uses. And although there's a need to develop some of these other uses, if we leave it unchecked, the conversion of land that can be used for our primary employers could ultimately lead to the detriment of our economy. So this dilemma is based on the fact, and this is real key to the report, based on the fact that our industrial lands are generally priced lower than other land and can be more readily bought and developed for retail uses. This yields a short-term gain for those landowners, and we see this all the time at our council meetings, and you all do as well. However, the retail uses typically take money from inside the county and export it to a headquarters outside of the county. And also, some of the high-end, a lot of the high-end residential uses, they tend to attract residents who desire more public services than their property taxes alone can support. So the conversion of prime industrial land is the least beneficial to the local economy over the long haul. From a broader economic perspective, the highest and best use of the land is often office and industrial. These uses can accommodate new or expanding primary employers who pay high wages, they import money into the community, and require comparatively few public services. However, the short-term gain to the landowner is usually lower for these other uses. So, but overall can result in the most benefit for our local economy if we keep those industrial lands. So Pinellas by Design strongly suggested that we protect the land that is suitable for primary employers. We also needed to identify and remove unnecessary regulatory barriers and the high costs associated with redevelopment needed to be offset by regulatory and financial incentives. As was updated at the symposium, Pinellas by Design established targets for high-wage job growth, recommended that we not only need to consider the efficient redevelopment of our current inventory of land, our current inventory of industrial land, but that we needed an additional 4,000 acres of land to accommodate these new primary employment jobs at the rate that we were using our land and the efficiency that we were using our land. So what have we done thus far to implement Pinellas by Design? The following slides will give you some high points, but understand that obviously there's more efforts being undertaken by others in Pinellas County. Early on, we adopted redevelopment categories for use around the county, and St. Petersburg was one of the first ones that took advantage of that, and these categories were very helpful in allowing for some of the redevelopment scenarios that you see in St. Petersburg to occur. Our codes that we had in place just weren't accommodating. Another is we developed the transit-oriented development category that was going to be used in anticipation of Greenlight Pinellas. It was part of the alternatives analysis. However, there were 5 communities along those rail lines that also adopted these transit-oriented development categories. And that was designed to help us gain additional funding from the federal government if and when rail were to come through there. If we have a consistent plan, we get a much higher score for that. Another joint effort between us, Pinellas Planning Council, and the City of St. Pete Beach in 2007 was to develop appropriate guidelines for redevelopment of certain areas of the Barrier Island. And what had happened was since 2001, we lost 5,000 of our 40,000 tourist accommodations through conversion to high-end residential. So you all remember a lot of the old mom-and-pop hotels were getting torn down and replaced with residential. And these mom-and-pops were experiencing pretty much the same thing industrial lands were. It's a little bit lower value, and they could build something else and profit from it. So we lost a lot of our employment through the loss of the hotels. We did a study called TEALS, Target Employment Industrial Land Study, in 2008, and this took the Pinellas by Design discussion a little bit further in setting forth a strategy to protect our employment lands. We've been using it in the County-wide rules for a number of years now. We continue to update that. But a sampling of the efforts around Pinellas County really starts with, I think, St. Petersburg. They did their Vision 2020 plan a number of years ago. We worked with them to essentially rezone, if you want to call it, about 53% of their city to become more redevelopment focused. They had codes that were really more suburban in nature for a number of years, and it just didn't work for them. So we worked with them to do their Vision 2020. Pinellas by Design was blended into a county effort called Planning to Stay, a great effort that affects the unincorporated Pinellas County. The Metropolitan Planning Organization did Livable Communities Model Plan. A number of communities adopted these things for walking, biking, and transit use. So these are all, again, follow-ups to what we did in Pinellas by Design. Lastly, we've got Largo as another example, has been doing a lot of strategic planning since about 2004. They're working on activity centers and multimodal corridors in Largo. And I'm sorry, this is lastly, US 19 redevelopment plan for their corridors. They just adopted their corridor redevelopment plan, and that will be incorporated into our new update of our countywide plan. So the future of Pinellas by Design, what does that hold? We're working on that now. And with a significant rewrite and updating of a countywide plan. I've come to you and talked to you well over a year ago, say we're almost done. Right now we're almost done. And I say Marie speaks up because the last Planners Advisory Committee meeting asked to delay it another month, and she voted against that. She wanted to get it done. And thank you, Marie, by the way, for that. But we are almost done. The plan, the whole plan comes from our special act, and the whole plan incorporates the Pinellas by Design concepts in there. And especially the centers, quarters, and districts plans that came from the Pinellas by Design. We're blending in the MPO's long-range transportation plan, all their transportation concepts into our vision map. That will hopefully is designed to make redevelopment along these corridors and within these different centers much easier when your products come to us. We're basically saying through this map that if City Oldsmar were to redevelop one of their corridors, for example, that when it comes to us, we expect that. If it's on the map, we expect that to happen, so we want to make the public process a lot easier. So that's what we've done. Also, the updated countywide plan map is part of this. Today it has 37 categories. The new map proposing has 14. And essentially what that means is we're getting out of the way of a lot of the local government decisions that are being made. A lot of the decisions will be made here. We won't see them at the countywide level. It'll make your process a lot easier. So.
Why is the key over Oldsmar? We can't see our.
You're I'll have to talk to the mappers on that. So.
Well, he knows we're already
Not
there.
really nice.
Well, we're already there, so he knows
that. Is right. We usually don't have to worry about Oldsmar, so we don't even.
If he had the success.
Oh, good try.
He has 26 other municipalities, not municipalities. He has 25 other municipalities and one county commission to worry about. Mm-hmm. He doesn't worry about us.
Yeah, and I, other than probably the elected officials here, with all of your bosses are your residents, in our jobs, I have 20 of them. So we have all the county commissioners and 13 board members. So, one other thing that came about was an economic development tax abatement. The Economic Development Department I guess, sponsored that, and that was approved by the voters not too long ago. So that was a fantastic follow-up to our Pinellas by Design efforts. And let's see. So really, to conclude what we've done, we are adopting the countywide plan. We plan on going to public hearing in April. And we would be done probably in May at that point. And if Marie's able to carry the day at our Planners Advisory Committee meeting and get past that. one of the things that we need to work on is providing infrastructure to support industry, and we're working on that. I'll give another slide one more moment. Assisting in land assembly for primary employers, and create other incentives and assistance. And just a little bit of follow-up to our, this is even smaller, I apologize for that, but there's a lot to fit in there. The symposium ended with a number of recommendations, and we're pulling those together. Mike Meidel is going to come and speak with the Metropolitan Planning Organization next month to pull all of those together. But for anyone in the audience or anyone here that wants to see the entire symposium, the speakers there, PinellesByDesign.org. If you go to that website, you'll see the 2014 symposium, and our IT people are fantastic, and they film the entire thing. They have each of the presentations. They have the PowerPoints, and I'm still inspired every time that I see that and see those presentations. So really, that got us a renewed interest in updating our countywide plan, regardless of what happened with Greenlight Pinellas. We're still looking at the transportation aspects of Pinellas County, the transit aspects, and blending that into our plan. I think the symposium got that re-energized, as well as saving our industrial lands. There's a number of things that we're doing in the updated countywide plan that should hopefully help that in trying to maintain our employment base. But another thing, a couple of things that we're going to be looking at as well is in 2017, we'll be looking at renewing the penny for Pinellas. And in the past penny, it was stated that none of that money could be used for economic development purposes. And there has been since I guess a legal opinion that stated that it could be used for that. So that will probably be part of the 2017 penny to be used for economic development. Maybe some incentives could be developed with that. We're also looking at, well, that money would probably come in 2020. The Star Center, Pinellas County is selling that, and there's possible economic development use for some of those proceeds. We also are looking at assembling land in various parts of the county. We've met with a number of the larger communities so far, and I was saying Oldsmar does well. We are going to meet with Oldsmar, but you all are really honestly doing what we hope we could do in a much larger area in the center part of the county as far as your employment base here. So, but regardless, your staff will be contacted very soon by Pinellas County Economic Development staff, and we'll sit down. And again, we're trying to look at larger areas that we could assemble. We have to decide whether or not Pinellas County would, I'm not Pinellas County, Pinellas Planning Council, but we're working with Economic Development, and they're trying to decide whether they should own a property or maybe do site development, but that's really a policy decision that they're going to have to evaluate in the near future. But a little bit of follow-up. We've only had a few months since then, but if you are interested in a little bit more of this follow-up, I guess we have Cliff Mers is your representative now on the Pinellas Planning Council from Safety Harbor, and he'll be giving you some follow-up after that meeting. But tune in and watch the MPO meeting. The Pinellas Planning Council meeting follows right after that, and we'll give you a little update on that. But that's our Pinellas by Design. That's a follow-up to our symposium and a little bit of the work that we're doing since that time. Again, the key is maintaining our industrial lands, trying to maintain our target employment uses. Those are the above average wage jobs that bring money into the county. And the spillover effect, when you look at the Bill Fruth's presentation, if you go to the PinellesByDesign.org site, specifically look at Bill Fruth's, it's absolutely phenomenal how many billions of dollars get brought into this county from target employment uses. And he does a very good presentation on how to do that with batting averages and what have you. So I think that was a little longer than 14 minutes like I originally planned, but any questions of me, I'd be glad to answer.
I don't have any questions. I find it interesting, and I can't remember what committee or what function I was at, but you spoke about the target industries or the target employment centers, and everybody always talked about tourism, and that everybody thought that tourism was the end-all be-all in bringing in money, although tourism is great. And then you said retail and residential also, and the residential doesn't even carry its own weight to support. And it just kind of is interesting. Your perception would be that maybe tourism and retail would be the one that does it, but it's not. So.
Right. When we, just our basic studies and for planning, industry uses the fewest number of resources. They don't have the police calls, the fire, and what have you, and they pay by far the highest taxes. But really, it's the employment, the paying of the employees, and the spillover effect from that. And it's I don't remember the multiplier, but it's significantly more than the tourism industry, which is one of our #1 industries, but it's just not the highest.
We got here in the city of Oldsmar. In the city of Oldsmar, we don't get hardly anything from tourists. But our tax base is so strong.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is a strong tax base. And why is it a strong? And you're right. It's not residential. We have an incredible strong tax base that we keep our taxes low because of our industries.
Exactly. Yeah. Yours is one of the highest. And the last one I studied was Pinellas Park. Was about 47% of their community was industrial based. And I would think that you've got a pretty high, significant number. And also you've got you have newer industry. You have a lot of target industry here. So it's not just a warehouse which might have one employee per 50,000 square feet.
A lot of high tech, yeah.
High tech. Very, very important. So I know Pinellas County Economic Development works with your staff quite a bit. You might not see them, and I know when I work with some of the other communities, they say, where have they been? They are showing properties. They are constantly talking with people that want to come into Pinellas County, trying to help them to locate. And I'll bet you they're through your community quite often. But us as from the Pinellas Planning Council, as well as them, again, will be meeting with your city staff to follow up on the symposium to see what we can do to work together, really, as a community.
This whole thing, we had talked about this. We've been, when I was chairman of the Pinellas Planning Council, in the 8 years I was on them, I mean, we've been talking about this for the last 20 years, this redevelopment thing. I mean, I was on the council when St. Petersburg was the 2020.
Right.
And I don't know what they've done with it. I don't know how successful. I don't know how successful Largo's been with it. Their corridors look nothing like our corridor. And I know because we never violated our vision in this city. We never violated it like some of the others did, the other cities, including the county. And then you've got something with Pinellas Park. Their industrial base is huge, but it's ugly.
And it's aging, yes.
And it's everywhere.
Right.
And that's what Largo tried to do, is annex everything, all the corridors, so they could get that much industrial base. That's why Pinellas County sued them, or they were suing each other. Your job is almost, it's almost impossible because you're dealing with so many entities that don't have the same vision as you have. And we can appreciate that. I know the mayor can, because we've been on on the PPA, Pinellas Planning Council. I remember one time Tarpon Spring was trying to redevelop an industrial area, and sometimes there was some confusion whether the ground was contaminated or not. It was a joke. I don't think if they've redeveloped it yet.
It's still there. And
it doesn't make any sense.
I've always noticed too, and I have to comment on the Pinellas Planning Council, that the council itself has always worked together well. But you were on the council when we had a lot of the annexation wars and a lot of the competition between Pinellas County and the unincorporated Pinellas County and the municipalities. We worked on the West Oldsmar annexation feasibility study. I want to thank your finance staff still here, Mr. Braithwaite. They were fantastic in developing the numbers that went into that. It made such sense, but there was a lot of competition at that point. You've had other issues as well with annexation, for example. But I'm noticing a change. I wanted to get to that. I'm noticing a change. There's a lot of working together over the last couple of years, and with unincorporated Pinellas County and some of the municipalities. Now, you may not have felt it, or I'm not sure. You've probably met with Mark Woodard and some of the others. But I'm starting to see some working together as a community.
For y'all's sake, I hope it does, because it hasn't up until now.
Right.
It's been a fight between everybody, and it's sad because they need to come here and see our success.
You're right.
Any other questions, comments?
Oh, thank you. It was interesting.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Again, I recommend you go to that website and check out some of those numbers. Very, very informative.
Definitely going to check it out.
Thanks.
Good.
And when you go to St. Pete and talk to Mayor Kreisman and the council, let them know if we got 100 acres in Oldsmar, if they got a stadium they're looking to build somewhere. I'm just saying, I mean.
I will. And I said that target employment starts at the top, and I was actually thinking geographically, too.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. You redeemed
I like that.
Mike, you redeemed yourself.
We are the hub of success.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Next item, Oldsmar Cares Annual Update.
Hello.
Hello.
Mayor Beavis, City Council members. I'm Brenda Gollin. I'm here to talk about Oldsmar Cares. I'm at 2030 Montego Court in Oldsmar.
Scott Nixon, 409 Tangerine Drive, Baltimore.
Okay, green button, white button?
It's the white button.
Okay. So, this is, we come each year, tell you guys a little bit about what we've done over the past year and some things that we're planning for the future. First of all, for folks who, this doesn't come up, huh?
No.
For folks that don't know, Oldsmar Cares is a food pantry, clothing closet, and stopgap rent and utility organization, nonprofit in the city of Oldsmar. What makes us unique is that we are 100% volunteer. We do not have any paid employees. We're located on State Road 580, and we serve what we call the greater Oldsmar area in the 34677, 34695, 33615, and 33615 zip codes.
Yeah, that's Oldsmar, Safety Harbor, and 2 zip codes of Town and Country in Hillsborough.
The other thing that makes us unique is that we were founded in 1997, so we're an 18-year-old organization. The programs that we offer are the food pantry and the clothing closet, like I mentioned. We have the stopgap rent and utility. And about 2 years ago now, we introduced a special grant, which we call the Patchwork Assistance Grant, named after Jim Patch, who was one of our board members and longtime supporters. Our holiday meal program has grown significantly, and Scott will talk a little bit about those numbers in a few minutes. We've started to offer some health screenings. And then this year, we introduced 3 new programs that we'll talk a little bit about later in the presentation. But our Weekend Food for Kids is providing food over the weekend for children that are qualifying for the free and reduced lunch program. We're delivering those food packages to those kids on Fridays, and they have extra food to get them through the weekends. What the statistics have shown is that a lot of times these kids are going hungry. They don't have the food that they need, and we're using it as an outreach to really get people more aware about the services that we offer and come to the pantry to support the rest of their family. So we're feeling that it's a good link between the community and getting folks back to the pantry. We also started offering dental services to our clients' children, and I think we did between 15, 18.
Yeah, about that.
Ira Berger, who's also joined our board, is supporting those services, and he's really done a great job of helping some kids out. And then the last thing that we just launched very recently, the website's up, is Oldsmar Works. So this is brand new. So we're really trying to help our clients find work and continuing our community service, so to speak, with linking to the business community in Oldsmar and taking advantage of this wonderful business community that we have. So I went into a lot more detail into the programs than I planned because I do have some other slides. But again, we're 100% volunteer. This is really important to us because we are able to, through the support of our dedicated volunteers, keep our overhead very low. We have about 240 volunteers over the past year, total 24 that are working to support our clients on a virtually daily basis with our pantry help and the hours that we cover. And we've added 3 new board members that are really helping to take care of some of the leadership and development of programs that we're looking to continue to introduce. Oops. Let's see. So here's an overview of our board. I am the chairperson, and Scott most recently took a vice chair position. He also acts as secretary and treasurer. Mike McKnight, who I'm sure you guys are familiar with, he's current board member and previous chairperson. David Wallace wears a lot of hats, as you can see. He's our volunteer coordinator and really keeps that pantry running smoothly. And then Kristen Silliman is our legal consultant. And then this last year, we added Michelle Baldwin, Eric Allen. Well, Michelle Baldwin is with Bank United, and Eric Allen is with Burry and Company, and Ira Berger is the dentist that I mentioned, who's in Palm Harbor.
All right, I was going to go over some of the statistics because this is the part that interests me. Pantry visits, as you can see from the numbers, they went up a little bit while unique clients went down. Part of that's because in 2014 is when we pulled back to just the 4 zip codes. Well, while that happened, more people within the area, found out about us. So that's why the numbers went up a little bit. One thing that's kind of interesting, I thought, was the unique clients, which are really households, average about three people per household. Pantry visits are usually, about every pantry visit has 2 requests, 2 service requests to it, almost always pantry clothing. That's on average. Sometimes people just want one thing, sometimes people want 3. But when I started looking at the numbers, if you take the pantry visits times 2, average of 2 service requests per visit, and then times 3 for the average household, that means we've basically helped almost 11,000 people. Now, wow. Obviously that's, a lot of people, it's the McDonald's number, you go to the McDonald's twice in a day and they're counting you twice, but it still is significant because it shows how active we are and how much scope we have, how much impact, I guess is the best word to say. So I always thought that was kind of interesting. The ways that we've been serving clients is basically through the pantry, and one of the things we just did was open some new hours on Monday night. And so now we have 2 nighttime shifts, which is really helpful for a lot of people, especially as people find out about it over time, then the shift will grow and get a lot more people in. Some of the other shifts will, it'll balance out a little bit more. Right now, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, we're getting a bit heavy, but they're starting to shift out a little. So the only days we're not open now are Thursdays and Sundays. So we have hours every day. And then we found out that we're the only area pantry that actually has Saturday hours, which has been a big help for a lot of people. We get comments about that every now and then. Let's see. Here's some. These are just more specific numbers, but basically you can see that food pantry, that went down a little bit because we got a little bit more in donations. When we have high donations, we don't have to spend as much to stock the pantry. Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, those are all just pretty much a standard amounts that we try to spend on each of the holiday giveaways. Financial assistance, that's a big jump because that seems to fluctuate depending on a lot of circumstances, how people find out about us, whether the economy is doing well, whether people run into a lot more problems one year to the next. So that was the biggest thing. Financial assistance, I should say, it includes water, utility, and rent assistance. That's where the money, where we give people money with that, help with that. All right, serving clients, like we said before, we service 4 zip codes. Majority is Oldsmar, almost 80%. Safety Harbor, about 7, and about 7 for town, or almost 8 for town and country. 5 for all others, because if people come from outside the area, we're not going to just turn them down. We'll let them know that we don't serve their area, but we'll still give them something, and then also we have a little guide to show where they can get some help in their area. As far as Oldsmar goes, I was kind of curious about this. The 34677 zip code, of course, is Oldsmar and it's Eastlake Woodlands. The majority, 95.5%, is Oldsmar and West Oldsmar. There's only about 4.5% of our clients and households that are in the Eastlake Woodlands.
21 people.
Yeah, 21 households. Yep.
Oh,
yeah. And the the last of the statistical part. Holiday food, we had Thanksgiving first for, I don't remember how many years, a few years now. And it increases a slight bit every year. Like last year, it went up 2.5%. Holiday hams, that's Christmas time, that stays about stable. We've done that for a couple, 2 or 3 years or something. And then we just added the Easter feast last year, and we had about 90 people, 90 households get meals for that. So, all right.
Can I ask a question, Scott?
Yeah.
Where is the closest food pantry other than Oldsmar Cares? Like, we got people coming from town and country. There's not a food pantry in town and country?
There's one, the Lutheran Church near Webb and Hillsborough. That seems to be the closest one.
That's town and country, yeah. So there is one there.
Yeah,
and then
but
what's
it's
the
pretty far
closest
down.
one here in Pinellas County?
It would be Safety Harbor.
Safety Harbor has one.
But they all have limits, like we have limits to the amount of food that you can get a week. So, I mean, in theory, and you're a little closer to this, but, you know, people are using those multiple facilities
I was just curious.
To support their total need.
Right.
I mean, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this is what I kind of already covered, the weekend, the new programs for 2014. We're really happy about the weekend food for kids. It's starting off a little slow compared to what the need is. We think that we're asking for some reporting statistics, and so there's a bit of a barrier for parents to actually, adopt and take the need that we have to offer. So we're going to be working on that. We're assessing that between 200 and 300 children in Oldsmar, between the two schools, actually are qualifying for the free and reduced lunch program, which is part of our criteria. It's helping us to identify the kids that are in most need. So we're currently supporting only 26 of them. And we're working with Eastlake Elementary to add the program. So it's a fairly new program. It came on in October. And again, some of the expansion on our board and focus of our volunteers is going to be redirected to that program to help make sure we can expand it. We're also looking at some grants to have more robust funding for it as well. And we have been working with the Safety Harbor. They've been actually doing this program for, I think it's 3 years, and provided us with some really nice counsel on how to launch the program and some things that I was planning to do as far as missteps that Janet was able to head us off and not go down that road. So that was nice. There's also some food that the Public Defender's Office is donating to, that Safety Harbor has applied for, that they're going to share with us. There's a certain amount of time. Their program is pretty small, even though it's 3 years mature. They've limited their program to, I think, 50 children. And the food from the Public Defender is a lot more than they can go through in the amount of time that they have to. I think it's a 6-month time. So we're still waiting on some final details for that, but we have been working with them to receive part of that food. Oldsmar Works is I think going to be a really exciting program. It's going to be a local job board. We're looking for both, people that need employment, and also working with the local businesses to contribute job postings. We launched, but again, we're looking for volunteers and we're looking for support to really kick that off and make that something pretty special. Obviously, we see quite a bit of need for employment through our client base, and with the work we do in the community with the businesses, I think it made a really good fit. It should be I hope to be standing here next year reporting, how fabulous and how many placements we have for folks with new jobs. So accomplishments for 2014. More availability to help families with our increased hours. That was real important. Increasing focus on children with the weekend food for kids. and new focus on deeper challenges with the Oldsmar Works program. What's ahead is, like I said, expansion of this weekend food for kids. We need to have a better penetration for that what I consider a pretty big number. Refine and promote the Oldsmar Works. We really want to be able to make sure that both our clients and our businesses know that there's an opportunity to keep the talent that we have here in Oldsmar, working in Oldsmar too. And recruit volunteers committee. We expanded with our golf tournament and our gala, and we really do need some more leadership there, and we want to open up obviously all volunteer opportunities to the community. With us being 100% volunteer, we're always looking to add new people and find new talents. Some of the mentoring that we're going to be able to do with the Oldsmar Works is going to be pretty cool, and I think we probably have some talented people that could contribute here in the city. And last but not least, with all this change and expansion, we've been going through a rebranding. We're not finished with our rebranding. We're discussing multiple logo options. We have a board meeting next week where I hope we will be making a final decision. But the idea is that next year I'm not going to stand up here and say that we're a food pantry, clothing closet, and stopgap rent and utility. We're really, expanding our services into more of linking people in the community, and so we'll be writing a new mission statement, a new positioning statement. The logo is really at the forefront of all of that, but looking to get away from compartmentalizing food and clothing and keeping the lights on. So we're pretty excited about it. Lots of discussion, and stay tuned. Just wanted to let you know we're going to have a little bit of we'll have a different sign on the front of the building.
Nice.
You wanted to talk about, yeah. Oh, I did want to just make one more call for volunteers. We do have a website, and we do have a contact us page, so that's the place to go, oldsmarcares.org. And I did want to thank City Council for all of your support, city in general. We couldn't do it without you guys. I mean, we wouldn't have what we have. So thank you.
Yeah, and on that, I wanted to thank you for supporting the gala. We had a very successful gala. We had about 285 attendees and made about $63,000, which is pretty close to what we made last year, despite having a smaller crowd. But I think we hit a sweet spot by offering a lot more table seats. People just seem to love that. But we also just want to appreciate you for being a sponsor, and in that vein, we have a plate for you.
Oh,
very nice. So
it was fun. You guys did good.
Brenda and Scott, you guys do a great job. Really do. Oldsmar Care is awesome. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Who should I?
Give it to the mayor.
You want me to come down there?
Yeah, take a picture.
Picture.
The camera.
Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you.
Did you guys have any questions or no?
You answered, I made some notes, and you answered all of the questions that.
Okay.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's only the 5th annual? Wow.
Where are we? City Attorney.
I have one item on the agenda tonight, and that's to authorize the mayor and city manager to execute the Homeowners Association documents for Hayes Park Village. You'll remember that a number of years ago that you approved the site plan for this 52-unit development off of Hayes Road. That property was also rezoned. This is just one extra step in getting the development further along, and that is to address the issues of the declarations or the deed restrictions for those 52 units. Normally, you wouldn't see those here. You wouldn't have to act upon them, but since the city does in fact own the land, you have to authorize the mayor and the city manager to execute that document. I have reviewed it in its entirety, and my real estate partner, Bob Metz, has reviewed it. There are a number of changes have been made based upon our requests. It is in its final form. It looks like everybody else has signed it except for the city. So we would just ask that in your consideration that you would authorize the mayor and the city manager to execute these HOA documents.
Any questions?
It was something that we need to do because we do need to control that subdivision after it's completed.
These deed restrictions basically will, they're going to be completely controlled by Hayes Park Development, LLC, until such time as about 90% of the units have been sold. Then it will be basically switched over to the Homeowners Association itself. So, you know, it isn't like there is going to be issues relative to control of the lots themselves, other than the development agreement. We won't be dealing with those. This LLC, Hayes Park Development, will be dealing with those particular issues, just so you understand the control aspect of it.
And so on that, because there are two components, there's the lots that we own, and then there's the homes that the LLC is part of. You'd use the number of 90% for the homes, but if at some point the city is out of the land business and they haven't yet sold 90%, do we then just turn it over to them at that point, or how does that work?
Well, the development agreement says that we get paid, I think, $20,000 per lot. Right. And so they have basically gone through the process of putting spec homes out on the site. Once they sell 90% of the homes, whether we have an ownership interest or not, it's whether the developer has sold 90%.
Even if we have dissolved ourselves of all the land,
yes,
by some process, selling it to the developer.
Right. If they were to buy all of them tomorrow, it still would not move from the development company to the Homeowners Association until 90% of those lots have switched.
So we'll still be involved in that all the way till the 90%, regardless of our...
Through the development agreement.
Correct, okay, all right.
I just have a comment. I have never read a homeowner, I don't live in a deed restricted community, and I've never read one of these before, and it's like 100 pages, and I have a total new respect for all of you that live in them and that live and abide by these, because it's just amazing how many rules, and I mean, I know that it's because you want to have a nice community and you want to not have a lot of whatever, you know, odd things in your neighborhood. But I definitely have a whole new respect for.
Send a neighbor a letter and then listen to them complain that they don't power wash their driveway. It's just, it's insane.
Well, one thing that I found really interesting was at the end, it actually recommends that the people that buy the houses have a lawyer look this over to make sure that they understand it. I thought that was really good advice.
I mean, it's a binding document. You know, it's a binding document for them. And I don't know how long Dan was, but I was president of mine for like 6 years, and I'd had enough. So
I'd have a hard time following all the rules.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was just my comment.
You need action from us, a motion?
Yes, I need a motion to authorize the mayor and the city manager to execute the HOA document.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Thank you.
Years ago, I used to go to when I was mayor, I'd go to all of the homeowner association meetings. I quit going. I thought they were going to kill each other.
Oh, they can get pretty heated.
That doesn't happen in East Lake Oaks, though. We're all calm and cool.
Oh, yeah.
See, Jerry and I are neighbors, so if Jerry does something stupid, I'll just knock on his door and say, "Hey, Jerry, really?" No.
Is that why you keep calling me and telling me?
No. You have a beautiful home.
Anything else, Tom?
That's it. Thank you.
City manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 10, award bid for construction of BMX Supercross track at Canal Park. Well, of course, the council is very familiar with the project. It's primarily funded through a grant from the Department of Economic Opportunity, State of Florida, in the amount of $1,270,000. That's the grant. And of course, earlier this year, the council has, by separate contract, approved the purchase of the fill material and also the lighting system for the new track. Tonight, I'm recommending the bid be awarded to Tampa Bay Construction and Engineering Incorporated in the amount of $1,394,155. Have any questions or comments? I'd be happy to respond to those.
Any questions? Do we know when we might start seeing some upward movement instead of tearing down?
Mr. Reeves probably could answer that question.
and what our target date is? I think you mentioned it one time before, just curious. Might tie it to the chair.
Glenn Reeves is your services director. What the intent will be, we'll get the purchase order and contracts to the contractor and get a notice to proceed as soon as possible, sometime next month.
Okay, and what's the first thing we'll start seeing out there, do you think?
Drainage, and then right after that, the retaining walls.
Okay.
That's really what we got to start with before USA BMX comes in and does the clay.
Oh, the tower, the retaining walls for the start hills?
Right.
And, okay. Perfect. I was wondering what that was all made of. So it's just retaining walls and then backfill it with clay and then backfill it with clay?
No, you have to have a good soil to make sure it gets the density.
Gets the density compacted, and then you put the concrete.
Yeah, it's lifted every foot, so there's lifts.
Like they do the overpasses, yeah.
Right.
Perfect. Any questions? Need a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, the next item, adopt Resolution 2015-06, revising the budget for the current fiscal year 14-15. As you're aware, we do two formal budget reviews in February and June each year. The resolution for your consideration this evening would adjust the appropriations for the General Fund, Community Redevelopment Agency, and the Water and Sewer Operating Fund. There's one very large item in here impacting the General Fund and the CRA, and that's in the amount of $1,450,000 related to Market Square. As I think you're all aware, the former Goodrich property is currently owned by the CRA, and the rest of the property, that would be the area east of City Hall and west of Fairfield, and then also that vacant corner at State Street in Washington, that was a separate purchase. Those are owned by the city of Oldsmar. So as we move the project forward, it will simplify things in terms of when it's time to replat the property, and then there'll be individual sales of different parcels for the retail use and the hotel and et cetera. It would be much simpler if it's all owned by one legal entity. So the purchase, $1,450,000 is what the CRA paid for the Goodrich property. So they would be made whole in that sense. There are some other items included in the budget revision as well. In the Water and Sewer Fund, there's a $300,000 appropriation related to the biosolids project, and that, is where we're designing and we'll be purchasing equipment to change how we handle biosolids, which we used to call sludge. But I'll read the resolution by title only. This is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, revising the budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2014 and ending September 30, 2015, authorizing the city manager and the director of administrative services to revise the existing budget. That's the reading of Resolution 2015-06 by title only. I recommend its adoption.
Any questions? No. Anybody? If not, need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Thank you. Anything else?
That's all. Thank you.
That would be the city clerk. City Council, schedule the work session on public art project. And yay.
Yay.
And we have some dates. Tuesday, April 14th, 1:15, up here in the work session room. Let me look at, I'm taking before taxes.
I think it's based on when the class can come. So we don't have options. We have, can we make this date?
Right, okay.
At the time that the students, there's 7 students, I think, and Professor Cornejo. So really, that's the time that works for the 7 students.
April 14th is good for me.
Yeah, we'll just have to make it work, and hopefully we can all be there.
I'm in.
Okay. You don't really need anything from us then, do you?
I'm good.
They're coming next week.
Oh, good. I'm excited. Good. Next item is comments by council members. We'll start with Vice Mayor Norris.
I only have one thing. I just hope that all of the, anybody can pray for Dave's family, the firefighter that We lost, and it's just, having recently lost my mother, the tragedy of death is just profound. And I can tell you from personal experience that all of the prayers and all the well wishes and cards and everything that I received, and I'm not going to start crying, really helped. So anybody that can reach out a hand to the family, or just, pray for the family and the fire department and the city. That's all I got.
Absolutely. Councilmember Saraki.
Thank you, Mayor. On Saturday, my wife and I attended the Friends of the Library Tea Party, and the library was just packed. It was a great event, and that is a great organization. It was their 8th year, and it was really a fun time, and it's a great tradition. Pancake breakfast, Oldsmar Cares, Saturday the 28th. Gull Air's having a pancake, sausage, egg breakfast, so that all the benefits go to Oldsmar Cares. That's Saturday the 28th. I think it starts at 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m.
I hope you go last so we can all eat.
It's $5 a person, and just so you know, I'm going to eat them out of house and home like last year. And then the last thing I have is the Top of the Bay Garden Club. They're hosting a fundraising dinner at East Lake Woodlands Country Club. My wife is involved in that garden club, and they're having a Chinese raffle, live auction. They have a dinner with a celebrity guest, which is going to either be one of the political people, I don't know who it is, but we're looking for a dinner for 4 at Flamestone for that.
What's the date on that?
The date on that is March 21st, and it's 6 p.m. Tickets are $25 for dinner, and all the benefits go to Camp Wakia. I think that's correct, for the kids, for the children. And again, prayers to David and his family. Tragic event in the city of Oldsmar. And that's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Beaverland.
Our thoughts go to Dave and the family, and it's a sad thing. Thank you for who you are.
Thank you. And I'll echo that. Station 54 and Dean and Aaron are here. And Station 54 is a great family, and it affects them, but it affects first responders in general when something like this happens. And it was a shock to me, and our thoughts and prayers definitely go out to Station 54 and the families of David and those around him, because it's going to affect them for a long time. He's got twin daughters that certainly are going to be affected by this, and so thoughts and prayers, and we're behind you with that, whatever you need. Also, tomorrow I'm going to be part of, obviously, on the board of the PSTA. Tomorrow we have a PSTA workshop, which is really to kind of discuss about where PSTA goes moving forward. Since Greenlight Pinellas did not pass, there has to be an alternative plan to continue to try and improve bus service. And believe it or not, some of it is going to be through probably cutting bus service to some of the lesser used routes, and try and streamline and improve the routes that are more successful to make a more straight line, instead of, if you look at the map for PSTA and where they go right now, it's like a big pile of spaghetti, and they're going in and out of neighborhoods and things, and they're going to try and make them more north-south and east-west oriented. So that's tomorrow. I'll follow up on that. And I just want to say thanks to Mike back there. He's flying solo tonight, and we had a lot of presentations. So thanks to Mike for keeping everything going. We had probably the most presentations we've had, and I don't know how you did it with just your 2 arms, but thanks. And that's all I had. If nobody has anything else, I just need a motion to approve the March 3rd tentative agenda.
So moved.
Second? Second. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0.